Welcome to Nightmare Stories of the Other Side. Joining us today, we have Mandy Cummings. She is an intuitive medium, a Reiki practitioner, and a paranormal investigator. Mandy worked 8 years in law enforcement and retired early to pursue her career in the paranormal. She runs the group Ghost Sisters, where she travels the country with her sisters looking for evidence of life after death. Welcome in, Mandy. Can you tell us a little more about yourself?
Yes, I'm also a mother of three and a grandmother of four. So, yeah, I do this with my sisters. They are my biological sisters. And I have been doing this now we started in October 2017. So we're going in our 8th year now. And it's been quite the journey. I didn't expect it to take off like it did, but it has taken off and it's doing pretty good. And what started this was me. I started this whole thing because ever since I was young, I have been dealing with spirits since I was like 9 or 10. So years gone by dealing with spirit. And one day I just, I decided, hey, I want to start a team. So here we are.
Where did you say you were located again? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Marion, Ohio.
Okay, it's Ohio. I had somewhere
said
else.
he said Connecticut.
Yeah, I said Connecticut. But I was a little off.
A little.
That's okay. A lot of people think because I have a little bit of a Southern accent, they think I'm from Kentucky or somewhere south, but no. My family is. My family is.
Uh, so when you guys, go into investigations, like what is your what's the word I'm trying to look for? Your approach for investigating.
Well, I don't like to know any history on a place. I'm usually the one that, gets us into locations, books things, unless other people that go with me will reach out to me with the location. But I don't like to know anything. My sisters, they'll probably know more than me because I don't want to know anything. But as a medium, I like to go in and not know anything. I like to see what comes to me. I don't want to go off of what everybody else has researched or found or, because it's just not always them spirits. It could be spirits spirits that no one's ever knew were there, it doesn't just have to be at the location that I am investigating. But I go in with an open mind with my sisters. Actually, one of my sisters, she's kind of skeptical. She's more or less the skeptic on the team, but she has seen ghosts. She's heard them, but she's still kind of skeptic. But we just kind of go in and do our own thing. We try to debunk because not everything's paranormal. And just basically we just go in. We are very funny to investigate with, but that's just us. We're sisters. We have that personality. So we have that high energy about us when we go into a location. We never want to go in angry or upset with each other because you never know.
Right.
Types of negativity things are going to latch on to you if you're in that state of mind.
All right. And when you guys first started out, do you recall what your first location you went to was?
Oh, yeah. So when I first started the team, well, actually, before I started the team, the first location, this is the place that got me to start the team, actually, because I was still working in law enforcement. Called up my sister one day because I had booked to do an investigation at the Mansfield Reformatory Prison in Ohio. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just got me a ticket and I don't have no one to go with me. I'm like, I'm not going alone. So I call up my older sister and I'm like, hey, you need to get you a ticket now. I'm going to this huge prison and I'm not going alone. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, get your ticket and come with me. So she's like, okay. And I ended up ordering an SB7 spirit box, a geophone, and that's it. And I had a GoPro. My sergeant let me wear his GoPro, and I just had a flashlight. So anyway, the reason why the prison means a lot to me is because we ended up capturing. I mean, right off the get-go, we were in solitary, and the lights were still on. They hadn't turned off the lights yet, and nobody was with us. And I kept hearing a man say, "Hey, hey." I didn't see him, but later on the video, he appeared. There was what we believe was the guard Frank, and he was all in black, and he was walking back and forth at the end of the hall. And my GoPro captured him. And there was a shadow figure standing in the middle, which we didn't even know he was there. We were so focused on, the thing walking. It wasn't until later that someone else pointed out, there's a shadow figure in the middle. I'm like, oh my gosh, we didn't even see him. We were so focused on the end of the hallway of what we captured. But it was shortly after that was when, like maybe a week later, I was like, I just felt drawn to start a team. And that's when I did. And I called up my sister, and she's been with me ever since I started. My other sister didn't come on till like a couple years later. So Chastity has been with me since I started the whole thing. And this amazing video that we captured, it ended up landing us on the Ghost Brothers when they went there to film Lights Out season 2. We were there filming The Shank, their first one. And they had me there. My sister, she wasn't there because she wasn't the one that captured it, but they did show the video and her face was in it. So we both were in it. They were there talking to me, showing our evidence. And it was just weird. That place was the first one that just set this whole thing off, besides all my experiences that I had throughout my life. But actually getting out there and doing that and then capturing something your first time, and and I'm really a paranormal investigator. I was just somebody who wanted to see what it was like, and I captured that. So that was the first place with me and my sister.
Nice. So as a team, like when you all got together, where was the first location?
When we did film the team, right away, I booked the Randolph Asylum. And then that was the one that we did with us and other teams too, because it's a big location and it can be a little pricey at that time. So we took some other people with us, and we got some really good stuff.
What kind of events happened that night?
So that night, down in the basement, there was one of the freezers that they had down there. That is where they would put the extra bodies when, because they had a lot of people passing away from, I forget what the disease was called. It was something when fecal gets in the water. So back then, those people, when it got in the water, of course, they were drinking it, and it caused the illness, and a lot of people passed away from it. And they had an overcrowd of bodies, and they would put them down in the basement. And when they ran out of room in the basement, they started putting them in the freezer down there. And one of the claims was that door is known to slam. So when we did the tour, the door was shut. Okay. And everybody's out investigating after the tour. And we had like 3 teams separated, and nobody was in the basement. Everybody was more focused on the attic and the asylum. And all of a sudden, we all heard this loud boom. And what it was, because we were trying to figure out where it came from. And then somebody said, hey, we need to check down in the basement because this could be something that came from down there. So the guys went down there, and sure enough, it was that freezer door had slammed. I think it was open during the tour. I don't think it was closed because it slammed. I mean, it was so loud. And then we actually captured an awesome EVP I did from the little boy Noah, who said to run around there at the asylum, I was the first one to actually get him to say his name. And he said it very, very clear. So that was pretty cool. It was like a classic AEVP. In the attic, we had two more, and in the jail. Well, no, I think it was one in the attic. It said, bodies are buried deep, clear, clear. The other one was at the jail. We were inside the jail cell there, and a woman came through. We captured her. It was a classic A, clear as day. She says, I'm laying on the floor bleeding.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, it was good. It was like, it just like made you want more, you know, it's like, okay. Yeah. And I've been back to that location numerous times, and it never disappoints.
Uh, yeah, I think that would be a neat location.
Mm-hmm. It's got a
What's
lot
some
of
of the other,
history.
what's some of the other places you've been to over the last few years?
There's been so many. I will say that one of the most unique locations that someone reached out to me because they were looking for a medium to help them, someone who could read like objects, and I can, and I was able to help this person. And it's a location called the Ura Shrine, and it's in Bristol, Tennessee. If you follow us, or maybe you've seen it all over, I mean, we have literally videos upon videos of this location. It's very unique. It's not a huge location. It's probably 2,500 square feet, but very unique and very haunted. So just to kind of give you a quick thing on this place, the man who runs it and lives at the location, he is somebody who, oh, what would you call him? He's somebody who deals with like balancing things, the yin and the yang. And so when you walk into this location, as soon as you get through the gate, the right side is for the living and the left side is for the dead. So there's a lot of stuff that go on at this location. He does not, let's just say he welcomes everything and anything. So there's a lot of witchcraft here. There's a lot of witches that are in spirit running around this location. There is a dragon portal table where they do a lot of seances, and they welcome anything. Anything is welcomed as long as it behaves. Yeah. And so this guy is also might as well call him like a gatekeeper. He's very powerful in what he can do. And so the spirits don't mess with him. And he ended up doing a ritual years ago to where he's able to do what he does at this location. He built this location. He would dream it, and then he would build it. So this place is very unique. He built a self-man-made cave, very haunted. It has a hot tub and a cold tub in there, again, with the yin and the yang. I mean, you just have to check it out, the videos of this place. That was probably one of the most active places, and it terrifies me every time I go there. And Ghost Sisters, we are no, what do you call us? We are ambassadors of the shrine. So we are allowed to take people there and let them investigate it, and yeah. It's a very unique place. There's a bamboo place. There's a lot of bamboo. There's a earth gate. They have the earth gate out into the bamboo, and the bamboo is huge. It's very active out there. There's portals all over this place. There's a lot of limestone. There's caves with running water underneath. So, I mean, you know, limestone and water is a kinetic energy source for spirit. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, there's not another location like this. And I've been to a lot of places. And the difference with this location, besides the uniqueness of it, is a lot of these places were. This place is. It's happening now. So you're not just getting past spirits. You got elementals, everything that us paranormal investigators want to go and investigate. I mean, I've never been to a place that was so dark like that place. I've seen it all and I've captured things. Yeah. It's got a bad history there too. So it's not just what's going on, throughout the years now. It was what was there before. The owner's family lived there and it was not good. They
Huh.
were not good people. So, but that's one of my faves.
Yeah. Hey,
'Cause
I've
it's
heard of it. It definitely sounds interesting.
Well, that portal table is huge. It has portals on it. It has dragon heads on it. It lights up. And I'm telling you, you can literally feel the vibrations off of that. There's I think 6 or 7 layers to the dragon table. And it's dragon cement. They had a chemist who actually is a part of the shrine. He actually made his own cement. He called it dragon cement and built this. And what they did, they had different people from different religions come in, and each layer has symbols in it of different things that people practice, if you know what I mean. So it's pretty sweet. Very unique place. The whole darn place is crazy active.
Hmm. Sounds
Yeah.
like
It'd be a good place for, I'd say, for a skeptic to go.
We should bring
For
Jake
sure.
there.
Mhm.
Yeah, my cousin, he is very skeptical. Like last
Oh, yeah.
summer, we took him to Waverly Hills and Ashmore with us, and yeah, just say when we were walking around Waverly, he was on his phone playing games more often than doing anything
Yeah.
else.
And when we were at
Oh,
Ashford,
no.
spirit box, and he's just like, yeah, this is fake. I'm like,
So he was blocking himself when he was going in. It wasn't even going in with the intentions of wanting to experience something. He was just already set in his mind that he didn't believe.
Yeah, I think for
Yeah.
like Waverly, he was more into going there for the older building and the exploring and not the paranormal.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I believe how you are in this life and when you pass away and you are spirit, you still have that personality. And so how you are is how you are in spirit. So they choose who they want to talk to, who they want to communicate, who's got the higher energy. You know
sure.
what I mean? Somebody walking in, spirit can read your mind. Okay. It's like I forget what to call that, but I believe they truly can read your mind, and I feel like they know who they want to communicate with. They choose who they're going to communicate with. They know some people have that more vibration to them, the energy, that aura is more brighter,
Mhm.
they can sense and feel more.
Hmm.
So it knows that they
This one
do.
right here.
Yeah.
They love
Sensitive.
they love communicating with her.
Mhm.
She's a little ball of light. That's why.
She is. Oh, excuse
They
me.
hate communicating with you.
Wow. Okay.
They always ask you to leave.
Yeah,
do.
they do. I've gotten asked to leave so many times I can't even keep count.
Oh God, they do it to me too. Not always, but yeah. Leave, go.
Uh, the part that always floored me is how they know your name before it's
Yeah.
ever said.
Mm-hmm.
They call me out all the time. All the time
Yeah.
they call me out. I don't think I've
Yeah,
ever
or they'll
heard
start
say my sister's names.
or they'll start answering a question before you've even got it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they do. It's my passion. I absolutely love what I do. I feel like I found my calling. I was being guided to go to that prison, and I was guided to start up the team. And believe it or not, I was doing my mediumship before I started my team.
Hmm.
It's crazy. But yeah. But I went in with an open mind of wanting to experience something, and
Right.
I did.
Yeah, I've only been doing this for not even a year yet. And it's like, it's just, I was talking to Chad before everybody got here. It's like, our next team investigation isn't until the end of March. I'm like, it just feels like it's taking forever to get here.
Yeah, I go as much as I can. Sometimes I go during the week, sometimes I'm going all weekend, sometimes it's 2, 3 times a month, or it's once a month. Mainly, if it's once a month, that's shocking for me because I love being out there.
Yeah, the first location we're going to is a house that it's gonna have its grand opening here in a week or two, and we'll be essentially one of the first teams that'll go in. So
I love that.
there's not a whole lot of history outside of the guy that owns it.
Mm. That's my favorite. I love going into a place that has never been investigated before. Those are
Yeah,
you get to be the one to go in and you have to teach them how to communicate with you because some of them's like, what?
but
Depending on the time frame.
according to him, they know how. I mean, they'll turn stuff on and off, and it sounds like it'll be an interesting night for sure.
Yeah,
Oh
one of
yeah.
the locations I went to last year, the team I went with, we were only the third team to go into that location. And out of all the places I've been, that is probably the most intense night I've ever had. It was just I don't even know how to describe what happened. It was just really bizarre. Basically, like during the Estes session that was going on there, I was felt like I was asleep, but I was awake the whole time.
Huh.
It was
That's
just,
interesting.
it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I got called one time to this church in rural Minnesota. The one of the Sunday school teachers was really freaked out by this mirror. And she said, "Well, can you come and take it?" And well, let's see what's going on there. Chad and I are both mediums. And this mirror was sort of the soft point for a portal
Uh,
in the basement, which somehow the spirits were able to migrate to a different part of the basement when I took the mirror out. But since they had never had a medium through there or been paranormal investigated at all, there were a lot of what is he doing in the like side conversations between spirits.
Mhm.
yeah, I remember at the one of the places we were at, like last, one of the gals was under Estes, and I put my hand behind her because something had just touched her. So I put my hand behind her, and all of a sudden she's like, "What is he doing?"
I remember that.
Was that
Mhm.
Oh man,
It's like I can feel you there.
Mhm.
we were at the Ura Shrine and I walked into this one room to get a piece of cake about 2 o'clock in the morning. And all of a sudden I seen through they had a microwave sitting there. And through the reflection of the microwave, I seen this. It looked like it was kind of brown, but you could kind of see through it. It was like a ball of, it wasn't even really a ball. It was like all like that. I don't even know how to, it wasn't like a round orb or nothing like that. It was like all this figured looking, but it was like this big and it was hovering over me. And
Uh,
I was like, oh my God. So I did like a 180, you guys. I probably looked funny. And I know I did because one of the shrine members, one of the ambassadors were standing outside of the room and seeing me doing this. So I did like a 180, spun around, was like, get off me. And I seen that thing just go right underneath the table and right underneath this curtain. And
uh,
I looked up and the one guy was standing there and I look at him and he's looking at me. I said, please tell me you just seen that. He said, Mandy, you had something manifesting on you. I've never in my life had that before. Never. It was intense.
I'm sure.
But it was translucent looking. It wasn't That's the best way I can tell you. And it looked like it was like a lighter brown color. I don't know. It was creepy. But I'm glad someone else seen what I was going through to validate I wasn't crazy. So,
So what are some other locations you've been to that are like, stand out as some of your favorites?
we've done some really cool residentials. Let's see some more. There's a place in Missouri that we've been to. I've probably been there 6 times. It's called Cooper Hill. And I actually had a lady reach out to me and she wanted a reading, and I gave her a reading. And when we were done with this reading, she goes, "So you're a paranormal investigator?" And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Well, I have a business, a place that you would love to check out." And I'm like, "Oh, tell me more." I'm like, "Don't, I hope I can come." But she's like, "Yes, I'll send you pictures." And then she started telling me, not too much, but she started telling me, when she purchased it and just a couple things that she's experienced. Well, anyway, it's called Cooper Hill, and it was a village back in the early 1800s. So there was like different families that was on this land. And then her place looks like a Civil War, one of the brick houses, the real big ones.
Mhm.
It's like got 3 to 4 levels. And downstairs on the first floor, she had an antique business, or has an antique business down there. And this place is huge. So very active location. And sure enough, when she told me I could come there and I could spend the night, she'd provide everything. And I didn't know this lady from anywhere. But my instincts, my intuitiveness was like, okay, I could trust her. I sensed that. But I wasn't going to go alone. But my sisters couldn't go. Everybody was sick. I said, "Well, I'm going. I don't care. I am going." Drove all the way to Missouri from Ohio and pulled up to this location, guys. And I swear to you, it was unreal. The activity at this location was insane. I mean, yeah. And they had a cemetery too, and it was about 2 miles away from the village. And we actually went there, but that place it kept me coming back and back and back because there's just so much going on there.
How
So
many
that's
buildings?
they had like 2 or 3 buildings that was not like all the way caved in, but the other places where you could step in, but they were just falling apart really bad. So a
Yeah.
lot of the houses were just old, and they were taking a lot of the wood from there and putting it into their huge house. Trying to think of some of the names. I can't remember. Oh, the Coopers were the main family, Coopers, and there was a bunch of them, but there was a smokehouse out back too, and it was weird. And down in this, like, it looked like, I don't know if it could have just been an extra storage room, but it was almost like a basement, but it had bars on the window. And when she bought the location, there was these shackles down there. So she thought maybe this was where they would, when people were acting up, it was kind of like a holding cell or something.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff down there too. This place is, I seen a pair of legs walking. I know that's crazy, but I seen this a pair of legs. I couldn't see anything from the waist up. It was all the waist down, and it was walking up Cooper Hill. And it was, um, we were outside and it was nighttime, and I seen it coming up the hill. I was like, "Oh my gosh." It's kind of like those things where you don't believe that you're seeing because you don't see it all. You see the legs. It was crazy.
I've heard some different theories about stuff like that, where yeah, at the time it was for them. Maybe the angle of the hill was different, and what you were seeing is just not the same as what it was. As some of the theories that I've heard.
Yeah, and it could have been like what do they call that? Like at that time, like their energy at that time just kind of stuck in that 3D type dimension, I guess.
Mhm.
Like
You
a
know, not
residual type thing.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
residual type. And I'm capturing that imprint of it. Could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been to all kinds of crazy locations, guys. I mean, it goes on and on. And sometimes they're nice spirits, and sometimes there's really mean, negative spirits. And they are really nasty to women.
Uh,
I've captured clear as day spirits saying some really bad things to me. And the weird thing is, they would say my name first, and then they would call me a bad name.
oh, jeez.
Clear as day. Clear as day. I'm like, hey, I'm not doing
That's not
anything.
nice.
Yeah, like one of the locations I went at when I first started, the same place where I thought I was like basically sleeping the whole Estes session. We only had, was it two women with us, and the spirits there did not like them at all. It's like they were picking on them left and right. So like
Yeah.
we're going there in October, and the majority of our team is women, so they're going to be in for
Yeah.
a very long night.
Uh,
Well, I was thinking that because this place that I was investigating was close to where my hometown is, and me working in law enforcement, I'm thinking this must be someone I dealt with, and they probably passed away and and they remembered me and they were at this location because that's the only thing I could think of because the way they were talking to me, I was like, really? This must be an inmate.
uh, trying to get back at you.
Yeah.
So if you could pick a location that you haven't been to yet, where would it be and why?
I would like to go to Alcatraz. I love prisons and jails and courthouses, because working in that type of environment for 8 years, they are really active and I can kind of relate to them. I've had family members locked up, being around those people, dealing with, I I kind of had that sympathy a little bit for some of them, not all of them. I dealt with men and women. So I kind of relate to them when I'm out there, how they felt. I mean, I was never, in a cell like that, but I was there working a lot of hours and, doing your rounds and seeing these people transporting and just, you kind of, depending on what they did, you kind of felt bad for them in a sense. But those are my favorites, prisons, jails. And I like asylums too, but mainly I love prisons and jails.
Yeah, I seen Alcatraz from the Golden Gate Bridge driving across it years ago, but that's the closest I've been to it.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to get
agree. It would be a neat place to go.
yeah, but it would be a long travel and there'd be no
Oh,
getting in your car leaving.
Right?
You'd be stuck on the island.
Yeah, because I think from what I hear, and that one is like I don't think they really do allow overnight investigations. But then if
yeah.
if they do, you'd have to like get your own transportation to and from, which wouldn't
Yeah.
be easy.
Mm-mm. No, no, but I'd like to. Or Dracula's Castle. No, I'd love to go there.
Yes, that I think
Problem.
would be on top of a lot of people's lists.
Well, the problem is I don't know if they would understand English or not, I'd probably have to play, their their language for them to understand what I'm saying.
Right?
So, but I'd still want to go.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be very awesome to go to. Yeah, I saw a post on Facebook. I think it was yesterday or today of a location that I think would be really cool to check out. It's the Drover's Inn in Scotland. It's supposed to be like the most haunted pub in Britain. I'm like, I should try to get there someday. It sounds very interesting.
Yes, Scotland, Ireland. I have yet to make it over there, and I cannot wait to get over there because I've never truly investigated an actual real castle, and I think that would be interesting going over there, communicating with, those spirits because they're the old spirits.
Right. Yeah. You think it's old over here. You go over there, it's way older.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of that stuff goes back to BC.
Yeah. But my husband keeps saying, I'll put you on a plane and fly you over there. I'm like, don't say that now. I'll go.
So as far as equipment, what kind of equipment do you use and what's your favorite piece of equipment?
Throughout the years of doing this, it's weird. You get all excited over all these new equipments and stuff. And I have I have so many different unique, pieces of equipment. And throughout the years, it was always exciting lugging it all around and using it, getting everything out. But I've noticed throughout the years that it's like I'm taking minimum and minimum when I go to investigate. I don't think it's so much of it's a pain in the butt unloading everything. I think it's more, I don't need all that stuff. I mean, it's great to have every now and then. Hey, I'll take this, leave this here. But I honestly, I'm starting to really love just listening. But I do love my spirit boxes, and I only have two, and they are my favorite. But my favorite one is the OG, the original ink box made by Katie Stafford. The other one I have is the intercom box made by Jay Prather, and that was my second spirit box that I ever got, and it's also used as a direct link. And I have gotten some of the best responses with it. When Jay built that box, he said he built that box to where it's not supposed to pick up on radio stations. He says it's directly from spirit. And I've gotten some really intelligent responses to make me really believe that, okay, I'm communicating with spirit. They are answering what I'm, asking. But the ink box has been amazing. I love it. And I also have another device that only 5 people around the world ever have. And Katie Stafford made it. It is the brainwave. So I do know that Jack Osborne is one of those people who have one. I'm one of the people that have one. And then the people that made it have one. And then there's another person that has one. This device is amazing. And I bring it out. I don't use it every time, but a lot of times people are like, where's the brainwave? Do you got the brainwave? I'm like, well, I do. I brought it, but I don't use it all the time. And what the brainwave is, it's really cool. You put this device on your head and it reads the brainwaves, okay? And it's got like an indicator right here. And it connects to a spirit box, and the spirit box does not have the sweep on it. Okay. It's just a regular spirit box, no sweep. So, it doesn't have a switch on it to turn the sweep up or down, is what I'm saying. So what I do, I'm able to speed it up with my mind, and it's amazing. It is amazing when you sit there and focus on that thing to get it going. And you can tell when someone who doesn't know how to do that, they're not doing it because it goes so slow. It's like, but once you get that thing going, it's like you turned up the sweep on it. Boom, boom, boom. So what it's doing is reading my mind. It's reading my mind. And some of the things are coming through that spirit box. It's pretty cool. It's different. So there's different ways. It's kind of like the Estes on steroids. I've been told. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But again, I don't use it all the time. Basically, REM pods, cat balls. I have a really sensitive recorder I use, and I do have the new 3D version of the SLS camera. I do use that, but not all the time, but I do. That one is really tricky. I love the SLS camera, but it gives off a lot of false readings. So if you don't know how to use it, personally, I like to put something, if I'm seeing something on my camera, I like to put a device over there. And if it lights it up for me, then I like to say, okay, maybe this is something over here, you know.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's just I have the typical things that most of us have. But anymore, all I take is my two spirit boxes, cat ball. I have a stuffed animal that has an attachment to it, which is a lot of people don't believe in that, but I'm telling you, there's an attachment to this thing. And I'm not saying that the stuffed animal is haunted. I'm saying there's just something that follows this
Mhm.
item. So I do use him because he makes a really good trigger object. Um, so I keep it simple, really. I keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all the things that go beep beep and light up and stuff too. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, the one thing I always find myself grabbing every time I go someplace is my dowsing rods.
I love the dowsing rods.
I have those, and I used to use them, but I just think of the places I'm going to, and because they're meant to find water. And a lot of times these places have a kitchen with water, bathroom, and it's just like, can I really, that's my thing. Can I really say that I'm actually communicating with spirit? But I do
Yeah.
have some. I do have some. I do like them. Especially the ones that light up, that glow in the dark.
I've seen those.
We should
I've
do
used those.
glow in the dark dowsing rods.
Dowsing rods.
Let me see. I don't know what else I want to ask. Do you have any questions?
No, but I want you to shut that door because I can hear Emily.
Okay. Oh, I'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of in a brain freeze right here. Anybody else got any questions while I kind of get my thoughts back?
Got any big plans for
Yeah.
the summer?
So
Yeah, actually, yes, we are traveling. Well, this is April. In April, we're going to travel to New Jersey. I've been filming, I filmed two episodes with Sherry Dimbendetti. So I don't want to say too much, but yeah. So I was just in November filming with her, and I was around Jason and another person. And so me and Sherry was doing our own thing while Jason and JV was doing their own thing. So I was invited to investigate these two locations at different times with them. So one of the places was in New Jersey was the Sterling mine.
Okay.
And this is huge. Okay. And oh my gosh, it is so huge there. And in oh God, you guys, it is so freaking haunted. And I will actually say that they haven't got the video out yet. I can't wait for them to get the video out. I've been waiting patiently as I can. I'm just excited because women are not allowed in the mines because men looked at women as bad luck.
Oh,
And so me and Sherry was in the mine for like, I don't know, it felt like 3 hours investigating. And taps, ghost hunters don't use a lot of equipment, and they don't even use mediums. So that was really interesting. That I was with her, but she would still look at things from a scientific side. But I'm not one of these mediums. When I go into a location, I don't say, "Oh, there's a spirit. Oh, there's a spirit. Oh, this, that." I don't do that. I tune in, tune out. I don't. I want to go in and investigate. I that's just how I do it. If something comes to me and it's bugging me, then I will say something. If I feel something, I will, but I'm not like maybe how other mediums do when they're investigating. And Sherry
mhm.
really likes that. But anyway, she does use REM pods and different things, the yes or no device. I was really shocked because I never seen her use them on ghost hunters. Maybe a couple times they had a REM pod out, but so I was really shocked. I was happy though because I'm like, I like to use those. So, but anyway, we had all kinds of stuff going crazy in this mine, and I don't want to ruin anything because she hasn't put it out there yet. We did a podcast and we talked a little bit about it, but I will just say what I seen with my eyes she's seen it at the same time. We've both seen this, and that's all I'm going to say. So you got a person that, to me, they debunk everything. So it was great. They look at it from a scientific point of view.
Mhm.
But she's seen what I seen, and she couldn't deny it. And we captured some stuff, and that's all I can say. So I'm excited. We've been waiting on that to come out. And us girls in April, the Ghost Sisters have been invited back to this location, just us girls, to investigate.
Hmm.
So, but there's always things. People are always inviting me and us out. So we're always booked. We're always doing something. So especially in the summer,
Sure.
it's just like I never know where I'm going next.
Uh, what were you gonna ask, Laurel?
Oh, so when you worked in law enforcement, were there any like sort of haunted inmates or areas that were particularly active and the people there would comment on it?
That's a good question because I got a lot of stories working in law enforcement. Um, some supernatural things. Yeah. Um, I would work down in female housing and so I was a corrections officer. I did graduate from the police academy. So at this jail, we housed about almost 300 inmates, some women, some men. So I was during the day and even at nighttime when I worked over, I was down there and I've heard a woman singing, things like that. You just felt like, man, somebody's in here with me. And one time on first shift, I went down to give an officer a break during the day. And I walk in there to give her a break, and she says, "All right, Mandy, don't you be in here conjuring up no spirits now." I'm like, why would I do that? And she goes, because when I was doing my rounds, I was hearing some stuff. And I'm like, how are you hearing it with all the women are up during the day and it's loud? But she was telling me some weird stuff was going on.
Uh-huh.
So she says this to me. So she walks out and I sit there and I got about 50 cameras in front of me and I'm watching everything. And they always give you a radio. Every station has a radio in it. So we can, listen to music and stuff if we want. Well, she was listening to music and it was coming in clear. And soon as I sat down, I'm telling you guys, soon as she walked out and started walking away, the radio all of a sudden goes, I hear white noise. And I'm like, what the? And I hear this guy come through it and he says, help me. And I'm like, this is not happening during the day. You know, I get up, I turn around, and I'm like looking at this thing. And the guy goes, help me. And I said, does somebody need help? And I walk over to this radio and boom, music kicks back on.
Oh Lord.
And yeah, I was like, that is insane. And when she came back, I was like, you
Well,
were
and then to have them repeat it to where it was confirmation.
oh, yeah, I know. It freaked me out. It was like soon as I responded to it, it it heard me and I guess it was satisfied with just knowing that I heard it,
Uh,
and crazy. Another thing that happened, I would be working in Central, and Central was the area that I would run the whole jail. I'm opening doors. We have cops coming in the back door. I'm running everything. So I'm writing down things, taking phone calls, multitasking like you wouldn't believe. And this happened to me a lot. I would get a lot of, I would say, kind of like a premonition. I knew something was going to happen. As soon as I heard it, boom, it would happen. So I'm
Uh,
sitting there and I'm like, just sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear signal 4. And I'm like, no, no, please, no signals, please. Because when you get a signal, those are signal 3 and signal 4 or 5s it's bad. Everybody's running from everywhere to get to the officer or the
uh,
inmate. And sure enough, when I heard it in my head, boom, it come across the radio. So I had a lot of that would happen. Or I knew when I would get down to the place where I was going to work, there was something about to happen. And I would get down to my location, working down in male housing. I said, oh God, I got a bad feeling. I just know something's going to happen. And sure enough, there was something really bad that happened. But there was another time I was working the weekend and we had an investigation to do. I had brought my clothes to change into because I was going straight from work to investigate. Well, I had something happen. I sensed something down in female housing was with me. And when I left, I went into the locker room, changed. Well, I was in the restroom area and something knocked over a hand soap into the sink. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. Something's, in here with me. I was the only one in there. And so when I got my car and got to the location, I told my team, I said, look, something's following me. I said, something is following me. Well, we were down in the basement at a haunted mansion, the Gill House, in here in Ohio. And we had the spirit box running, and clear as day, I said, do you know my name? And this guy come through and he said, he called out my maiden name. This was when I wasn't married at the time. He said, Metzger, clear as day. Now, who calls you by your last name when you're investigating? Come on now.
uh,
Me? Inmates. So this man had followed me from the jail and he confirmed it. And I actually have that on a video somewhere. So they would follow me. They were following me. They would come to me a lot when I was working. I'd have female officers come in the back door. I hated to pat them down and shower them out because their loved ones were coming through. But they knew I had that little bond with the females. They were really cool. They would tell me that they were hearing, they named one of the female spirits down in female housing. They called her Cookie. And they would tell me all the time, Miss Cummings, Cookie, I've heard her. She's making noises at night. Nobody's in the bathrooms. Cookie this, Cookie that. It was constant shadow figures. One of the officers even seen something in one of the female housing cells. And nobody was in there. He said he saw this distorted looking thing in the corner. And
uh,
he literally called me up. I was at work, but he called where I was and was like freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, the inmates were definitely going through it. And there was a lot of deaths. I saved a lot of lives there. I was there when people passed away. So yeah, lots of crazy stories
mm,
with this location. Yeah. I always say when they close it down one day, if I'm still around, I'm going to investigate that place.
uh,
Yeah, there's plenty of places like that in my hometown of Red Wing. It's like
Mhm.
I want to investigate that you can't right now. Like, St. James
Oh
Hotel,
my
the
gosh.
the training school down there. It's like
Mhm.
my stepdad used to work there, and he said like up on the third, fourth floors in the tower, you'd hear stuff in the middle of the night, and there was nobody up there. So it's like one of those places is like a dream place to get into, but that's who knows when that'll ever happen.
Well, the Common Police Courthouse here in my hometown, Marion, Ohio, where I transported people to prisons, jails, court, hospitals, you name it. I watched them deliver babies. It's been crazy. I could go on and on. But the Common Police Courthouse is that's where it's like felonies. That's the felony courthouse. And The judge at that time loved us girls, and he knew we were paranormal investigators, and he let us go there, and we investigated this old courthouse that's still a courthouse today. And we investigated it, but we couldn't go live or anything like that. And any evidence we captured, we had to show it to him before I could post it.
Mhm.
But we captured a recording of a female saying my last name. So it was pretty cool.
No, I don't think I have any more questions. I don't know if Chad or Laurel do or you do, Natalie.
It just makes me wonder at the prison there if it's mostly individuals who passed away or passed through there, or if it's a mix between that and other spirits or entities that are drawn to that type of facility, that type of energy. Like with the shadow figures you were seeing in the weird thing.
Mhm. So the jail, which is really huge, has two prisons right next to it.
Hmm.
Yes, and we're talking prisons that has thousands and thousands of people locked up. This is maximum security, big time. So my daughter is a psychic medium. She doesn't want nothing to do with spirit, but she sees them everywhere and has since she was little, and she
Yeah.
totally does not like it. And well, she used to go to the jail and wait on my husband and I to, she would ride to work with my husband because we work different shifts. And she would sit in the roll call room and she'd be in there all alone. And she was on the secure side. She was safe. But she was terrified. And she would tell me when I would, I was leaving work, and she would say, Mom, she says, I was sitting here, I was doing my homework, and I seen this angry guy, this bald-headed man, real big, walking back and forth in a blue suit. And he was just angry. I said, they ain't one of ours. I said, because they wear oranges here. You and an inmate from the prison, they wear blue. So she was always telling me we were bringing them home and they were following us. And they were, because sadly enough, I get a lot of visitation from, spirits. And I'd be dealing with a lot of people who OD'd that worked at where I was at, where they were locked up. And sadly enough, they would come to me in my dreams and stuff. And yeah. So I know I was bringing them home. My he's a captain, and I tell him he's bringing them home all the time. They're like they want to follow me and come here and talk to me because I'm no longer working there. So they come by to just, I don't know, to check on me, I guess. It's funny. But they leave. They don't stick around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we
Huh? Go ahead.
go ahead. You go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, I think we ran Matthew out of questions. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
are
that
there any
rarely
more?
happens, guys.
I know.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, Mandy, tell us where we can find you on the internet, on social medias.
If you're interested in a mediumship or a Reiki session, you can find me on Facebook under Intuitive Medium Mandy. If you are interested in investigations in paranormal, you can find Ghost Sisters on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Now we do go live on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok, but I'm getting more into creating videos for my content on YouTube. But you can still watch us live.
All right.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for reaching out to me.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
All right. Everybody have a great night.
Yep, you too.
Thank you.
This has been Nightmare Stories of the Other Side, a production of Nightmare Explorers.